Chair.
All right. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Just walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Now, it all started about about 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, when my friends and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live at the restaurant. She lives in the church beside the restaurant with Ray, her husband, and Foxy the dog. And living in the church, they lived in the bell tower where they had a lot of room. And they had a lot of room downstairs where they'd taken out the pews. And seeing as they had all this room, they decided they didn't have to take their garbage out for a long time. So we got up there and found all the garbage and decided to be a friendly gesture to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we loaded up the back of a VW microbus with shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed off to the city dump. Well, we didn't find one until we came to a side road, and off the side of the side road there's a big pile of garbage, and at the bottom of the garbage, oh my gosh. So we went to the city dump where there was a sign and a chain across saying closed on Thanksgiving. We'd never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving, so with tears in our eyes we went off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one until we came to a side road, and off the side of the side road was another pile of garbage, and we decided that one big pile was better than two small ones, so instead of bringing that one up, we decided to throw ours down. Which is what we did. We went back home, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat. Didn't get up till the next morning until we got a call from Officer Obie. Said, "Kid, we found your name on a piece of envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and we was wondering if you had any information about it." And I said, "Obie, I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope at the bottom of that garbage." Well, after about 45 minutes, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter. He told us we'd have to come down to the police officer's station and pick up the garbage. So we loaded up the back of a VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed down to the police officer's station. Now, friends, there's only one of two things they could have done to us at the police officer's station. The first was they could have bawled us out and told us never to be driving garbage around the vicinity. And the other was they could have given us a, oh my gosh. But when we got to the police officer's station, there was a third possibility we had not even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested. Handcuffed. I said, "Obie, how can I pick up the garbage with these here handcuffs on?" Obie said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car." So we got in the back of the patrol car and headed off to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. Now, friends, let me tell you something about this town called Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where it's all happening. Here they got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime in 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using all kinds of fancy cop equipment they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking tire prints, footprints, handprints, dog-smelling prints. And they took 27 8x10 color glass photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against it. Took pictures of the northwest corner, the southwest corner, the approach, the getaway, not to mention the aerial photography. Well, after the ordeal, he took us back to the police officer's station. Obie said he was going to put us in the cell. He said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt." I said, "Obie, I can understand why you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend while I'm in the cell, but why do you want my belt?" He said, "Kid, we don't want any hangings." I said, "Obie, did you think I was going to hang myself for littering?" And friends, Obie was. He took out the toilet seat so I couldn't bang myself over the head and drown. Took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll out the toilet paper, slide down the roll of toilet paper, and have an escape. Obie was making sure, and 4 or 5 hours later, Alice came by. Remember Alice? This is a song about Alice. Alice came by with a few harsh words to Obie on the side, bailed us out of jail. We went back home, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, didn't get up to the next morning when we had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie walked in with the 27 8x10 color glass photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining who each one was to be used as evidence against us. And he sat down. Man came in, said, "All rise." We all stood up. And in walked the judge, followed by the CNI dog. He sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one explaining who each one was to be used as evidence against us. And he looked at the CNI dog. Then he looked at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one explaining who each one was to be used as evidence against us. He began to cry because Obie came to the realization that this was a typical case of American blind justice, and the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one explaining who each one was to be used as evidence against us. Anyway, we got fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow. But that's not what I came to tell you about. I came to talk about the draft. They got this building down in New York City called Whitehall Street where you walk in, get inspected, injected, detected, neglected, and selected. Walked in one day to get my physical examination. Got good and drunk the night before. I mean, I wanted to feel like the all-American kid from New York City, so I got good and drunk the night before, walked in, got hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things they was doing to me at the place there. And finally walked up to the man and the shrink there, he said, "Kid, I said, "Kid, I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts, veins in my teeth, eat dead bird bodies. I mean, kill, kill, kill." I was jumping up and down yelling, "Kill, kill, kill." He was jumping up and down with me, both jumping up and down yelling, "Kill, kill, kill." Man came over, pinned a medal on me, said, "You're our boy." He sent me down the hall.
You're our boy.
Feel too good about it. Walked on down the hall, got more inspections, detections, neglections, and they was inspecting every single part of me. They was leaving no part untouched. Walked down the hall, finally came up to the very last man, sat down, and after a whole big thing there, walked up and asked him what he wanted. He said, "Kid, have you ever been arrested?" I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre in 4-part harmony. He stopped me right there and said, "Kid, have you ever gone to court?" I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph at the back of each one to explain who each one was to be used as evidence against me. And stopped me right there and said, "Kid, we want you to sit on that bench over there that says Group W." Now, kid. Walked over to the bench there, and there were all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly creatures sitting on the bench there. Father stabbers, mother stabbers, and the meanest one of them all, the meanest mother stabber of them all, came over and sat down beside me and said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." He said, "Well, what were you arrested for?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on their bench and gave me the hairy eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things until I said, "And causing a nuisance." And they all moved back, shook my hands, and we had a groovy time on the bench there talking about father stabbing and mother stabbing, just having a real fine time until the sergeant came up. Had a piece of paper in his hand, held up the piece of paper, said, "Kid, this piece of paper got 47 words, 58 words at the time of the crime, name of the crime, name of the arresting," on and on and on for about 45 minutes. We didn't understand a word he said, but we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench. I filled out the massacre in 4-part harmony there and put it all down there like it was and all, and turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, quotated, big italics letters, read the following words: "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" I walked up to the sergeant there. I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I mean, just as I'm sitting here on the Group W bench, you got the gall to ask me if I'm moral enough to join the Army, burn women, kids' houses, and villages after being a litter bug." Sergeant said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. In fact, we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington. And friends, enshrined in a folder in black and white is a study of my fingerprints. And the only reason I came here to tell you is this, is if you know somebody in a similar situation, or if you're in a similar situation yourself, and if you're in a situation like that, all you got to do is go up to the shrink and say, 'Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant,' and walk out. Now, if just one person does it, well, they'll think he's crazy and they won't take it. But if 3 people, can you imagine 3 people walking up singing a bar of Alice's Restaurant Massacre, walking out, well, they'll think it's an organization. Can you imagine 50 people a day, I said 50 people a day walking up singing a bar of Alice's Restaurant Massacre and walking out, well, they'll think it's a movement, and that's exactly what it is, the Alice's Restaurant Anti-massacre movement, and all you got to do to join is to sing it the next time it comes around on the guitar. With feeling. Here it comes now. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Just walk right in, it's around the back. Just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. That was terrible. When you're talking about war and stuff, you got to sing with a little more feeling, so we're going to try it next time it comes around on the guitar. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Excepting Alice, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Just to walk right in, it's around the back. Just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.